Welcome to this course on Alpha Children. Our children are presenting much differently than the children of yesteryear. They appear more independent, stronger, even more mature at times. Is this really true, or is it an illusion? I believe it's an illusion. I believe there is something deeper going on, more systemic going on, that is at the core of this presentation, and that is our subject today and for this course. When I first attempted to put the puzzle pieces together of attachment, what emerged was a realization that children were coming to revolve around their peers rather than their parents and teachers, the adults responsible for them. That when I came to realize this, this led to the book on Hold On to Your Kids, in where I focus on peer orientation. But when I looked at the material again, and I've continued to study this material, another phenomena has emerged. And it's not enough for children to simply be attached to the adults responsible for them. They need to be attached in the right way. Many of our children are now in the lead. Prescriptive, bossy, telling their parents what to do. And this is exactly the phenomena that I want to address. The lead role was meant for us as parents and teachers. Somehow we are losing our rightful place in their lives. And this is creating difficulties for all concerned, for them and for us. In many ways, this is a much bigger phenomena than even peer orientation. Not only must children revolve around their adults and teachers rather, parents and teachers, but they must be attached in the right mode. It would seem that we have lost this dance, probably as a result of a reaction to the authoritarian parenting of yesteryear. Many of the adults reacted to this. There was a focus on egalitarian relationships. There was an attempt to democratize the family, but it appears as if we took a wrong turn. It appears as if we moved too far, or we lost something essential in the process, and that's what I'm going to talk about. Basically, is that we have lost something very essential in that process, in understanding of the nature of human relationships, and especially of child-adult relationships. This dynamic affects every arena of relationships. It affects marriage. In fact, I think once this dynamic begins to be understood, it sheds light on much of our dance in marriage. It affects friendship. You see it in politics. You see it in religion. In fact, once your eyes are open to it, you see it everywhere. It's very much like peer orientation. We had no word for it. When I coined the term peer orientation, only a number of researchers had named it before, but there was no public consciousness of this. And because there was no public consciousness of it, we didn't see it. Because without language, we have no awareness. And the same thing is true for this. We have no word for this. One step removed from the animal world, we see it clearly. We have no problems with seeing it at all. And we have called it the alpha instincts, and we have no hesitation to do so. But for some reason, we are blinded to this in our own human relationships, as I will talk about it later, probably because of our very strong values around egalitarian relating, is that we're completely blinded to this. We have no term for it, and because we have no term, we have no self-consciousness around it. I have chosen the term Alpha Children. It's difficult, just like peer orientation. I couldn't name the book Peer Orientation because nobody knew what it was. Hopefully with the term Alpha Children, there's at least that sense at least intuitive sense, that this is children looking to be number one, to be in the first place, to displace others, and so on. And then as we have the language, we will find more consciousness around it and be able to find our rightful place, reclaim our rightful place, as the subtitle says, in their lives. Our first part of this, the first session, is to try and make sense of alpha. Before we do so, we'll take a look at some of the most common alpha instincts, very, very basic instincts. And the thesis here is that there exists in every single one of us, not only us, every single mammal, deep natural instincts that under the right conditions move us to be first, or number one. Move us to take over, to take charge, to take the lead. That there exists in every single one of us deep natural instincts under the right conditions to be on top or take center stage. You'll also know individuals that are characterized by these instincts. It's there all the time, not only under certain conditions, but there's a certain stuckness to these instincts, and we'll talk about that as well. There are instincts to trump interaction, to whether it's by voice or otherwise, to have the last word, to be in the know, and to know more than others, and to displace or resist being displaced physically, emotionally, and psychologically. I've struggled for a number of years now to try to get to the essence of this dynamic. What is at the bottom of this? What is the essence? And I think it is the issue of displacement. I hope that in a few months I don't think differently, and I've discovered it because I'm creating this course now. And so hopefully I'm right. This would have to be true across the animal universe. I had an opportunity to witness this process take place. We had a very young kitten introduced to our menagerie of pets in our home. Alpha had already well been established by Kelly, the senior cat, and Whiskey, the dog, and then came this little kitten. And for some reason or another, this little kitten resisted being displaced. Kelly would try to whip her, would paw her, would push her around, would growl at her, and this kitten just moved right into it as, just, you can't move me. And then as soon as the dominant cat would give up, the little kitten moved right to take her place, and all her favorite places, she sniffed them out, and she sat in those places. She displaced Callie over probably 2 weeks' time and refused to be displaced. Now, Callie is quite a gentle cat, quite alpha. As soon as I wake up in the morning, she'll look to lay right on top of me and establish who's boss, just like many cats do. They have very, very strong alpha instincts. But once we have established a relationship, I get up, I go to my office chair where she makes sure she sits first, and then when she sees I'm ready to sit down, she will jump off. Not so that little kitten would absolutely, how cats are when they refuse to be picked up, when they're absolutely resisting, and she refused to be displaced. It's an issue of displacement. We displace with the eyes. We displace with the voice. We displace in games. We refuse to be displaced. It seems to me a very, very basic instinct. And what I am saying is children are coming to displace their parents in all kinds of ways, and their teachers. Now, some of it is because of technology. We can't help it. They know more. They can access Google faster than we can. They know how to work all of those kinds of things. They're far more knowledgeable. It used to be that adults and teachers not only knew more, they were in control of the information that was given. We've lost that place completely. We've been displaced. And there's no way back on that one. But there's something much more fundamental that is going on. Now, we can't really address a problem we don't understand. And that's our first challenge, is to really make sense of this. And so our first session, the theme of this first session in it is to be able to get underneath it, to understand it, to make sense of it, and specifically to uncover the natural intended purpose of the alpha instincts. From a